Hello and welcome to the Sarah Seams podcast. My name is Sarah. I'm coming to you from Columbus, Ohio, where I live with my partner Troy and our cats Alex and Moo. This is the first podcast episode of 2024. I'm so excited to be back with you all. And it's also officially been 1 year since I started the channel, which seems impossible. It seems so crazy. I can't believe it's been a whole year. And there are quite a few new faces here since Vlogmas and my Everything I Knit in 2023 video. So I just wanted to take a minute to say hi, introduce myself again. Like I said, it's been a year, and the best part of the year has been building this community, getting to know you all, and chatting with you in the comments. I'm really proud of this channel and what we have built here together, and excited to continue growing it into the next year. So just a little bit more about me real quick, since like I said, there are quite a few new faces. So my name is Sarah. I live in Columbus, as I said, Ohio, and I am 31 years old. I am from Columbus originally. I did live in New York City for about 5 years for work, and I'm a fashion designer. So I design plus size intimates. I love my job. I love designing like bras specifically because of the amount of like detail that they require. So that's something I focus on in my own work as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I do all the crafts. I sew, quilt, anything you can think of. I've probably tried it at some point. This channel is where I mostly talk about knitting, but also some sewing and quilting, and I'm just dipping my toe into spinning, which I'm going to talk about some today as well. And please, if you have any questions about me or the channel, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can also find me on social media, on Instagram and Ravelry. The links for those will be in the description box below, as well as everything else I mentioned in the video, patterns, etc. will be linked down below. And if I miss anything, again, please feel free to ask in the comments. So with that said, I have a lot to share today. It's been a while. It's been over a month, like a month and a half, I guess, since I last did a regular podcast episode, because in December I was doing Vlogmas, which was so fun. I ended up doing a video every 3 or 4 days. So if you're interested, you can go back and watch those. It was obviously my first time doing it, and had a really good time, but it is a different format of videos. So, I decided I'm not going to talk again about projects that I talked about in Vlogmas or finished in Vlogmas. So if there's something you saw in a previous episode that you're curious about, I probably touched on it in Vlogmas. I am just going to start fresh 2024 and share with you today what I've been working on in the new year. And I think I have like 11 or 12 whips, and probably all of them are new cast-ons. So yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna start with finished objects, and also the first thing I'm wearing is my first finished object. So this I am obsessed with. This was my first finished object of 2024, and it is my To Draw sweater. This pattern is by Revive. It was my birthday cast on in 2023, so I cast it on around Thanksgiving, and I made size 5, and here it is. So it's gonna be hard to get the whole thing in frame. There you go. So it is this big, boxy, oversized drop shoulder sweater, and you can see the main feature is this big seed stitch square on the front. So the yarn is Biche et Bouche Le Gros Lamb's Wool in the color Candy, and I really hope you can see all the really beautiful little colors that are in there. It reads overall as like a light blue, but I think it has like every color of the pastel rainbow in there. It has this 2x1 collar with the braided detail, and that's kind of throughout. It's on the hem as well. It has a split hem. I am obsessed with this. I love how it turned out so much. The original pattern calls for the rectangle on the back as well, but I did omit that. Yeah, I love how this turned out. It feels very special since it was my birthday cast on. It's my first real like big cozy oversized sweater that I've knit, And I know that I need many more sweaters like this because I feel like this is the kind of sweater I can wear every day versus like a lot of my little crop sweaters, which I love. I wear more to work or out as like part of an outfit, where this I can just like throw it on with leggings and it's so comfortable. I should also say, so for the seed stitch part, you hold the LeGros lamb's wool with a strand of LeGros mohair. So that color is light pink, I believe. So just in the rectangle, there's that hint of pink. So I love this. The reason I cast this on as my birthday cast on was because this rectangle motif reminds me of one of my favorite artists, Agnes Martin, who I've talked about a lot on here before. She made really simple, minimalist, like geometric art, and this very much reminded me of her. So this sweater feels very special. It was special yarn, special inspiration, and I love the fit and the final object so much. So I'm really happy. I'm so glad this was my first finished object for the year, and I've been wearing it a lot already. I find the yarn really nice to wear. I think if you're really sensitive to wool, it's possible that you would find it a little scratchy, but I have been loving it. So that is my first finished object and my favorite one of the year so far, but it was also the first one, so we'll see. But I see it being a favorite throughout the year. Next and last finished object, I only have two for you today. Like I said, everything I would have talked about in previous podcasts, if I finished it, I probably mentioned it in my Everything I Knit in 2023 video if you're interested. So my next finished object is one of these little guys. It really does look like a croissant when it's rolled up like this. This is not the Sophie scarf. This is the Simple Thing, which is basically a free version of the Sophie scarf. The pattern is by Melina Burrell. It'll be linked below. It's free PDF download, and I really enjoyed it. So the difference between this and the Sophie scarf, let me see if I can find, is that this one has an I-cord cast on, so, and it's free and it's not a petite knit pattern, but it has the I-cord cast on and bind off, so the I-cord continues all the way around the point, which is just a really nice little finishing touch. To my knowledge, the Sophie scarf does not include that detail, so I think in a way this one has nicer finishings. I will say the shape of this as written is a little bit more of a triangle shawl, so I think because it's a free pattern, I feel fine saying, I think it has you increase every 4 rows. I decided to increase every 8 rows. So I started it and felt like it was increasing too quickly. And so I restarted it because I wanted it to be a little bit longer and narrower. I also have not blocked this yet, so I do anticipate that it will grow significantly in length after blocking. This yarn is a total delight. This is pure, I'm like flipping the scarf around. This is Purl Soho Simply Camel. So let me roll this back up so you can see it. So yes. It is Purl Soho Simply Camel, and it is stunning. It's one of the softest yarns I've ever used. It's 100% baby camel. This is the natural color, and it is just so soft and drapey and beautiful. Camera doesn't want to focus today, but yes, it's really lovely. The natural camel color is just stunning. It comes in 50-gram balls and you get 164 yards. So I did hold it double to make this. I could definitely see making more of these in the future. It's a really quick project. I think I knit this in like 3 or 4 days, and it's a very flexible project. Like I think you could almost use any yarn, any needle size to like follow this. I'm tempted to make a shawl version now, where this one feels like more of a scarf. So yeah, and you can see it just has a slight, so you only increase along one side. So the top is straight and then it tapers into this like really slight V here in the middle. But I think depending on how often you increased, you could really easily play with the shape of it. So yeah, definitely recommend this as a free version of the Sophie scarf or shawl if you've been interested in those patterns. And can't say enough good things about this beautiful camel yarn. I just have been trying to experiment and use with different fibers, so really wanted to try camel. It is pricey. I think it's perfect for a small project like this. I don't know that I'd ever really be able to justify using it in a garment or anything. It's also extremely warm. And I think similar to alpaca, while it feels very soft on the hand, it can be a little bit itchy around your neck or as a garment, I think. So just a couple of things to note about it. Okay, so that was it for finished objects. Let's jump into whips because there are a lot of them. And I'm gonna try not to make this like a 9-hour podcast today. So the first one is a quick update on a quilt project. So let me just scoot over here and grab these real quick. Okay, so if you tuned into Vlogmas, you would have seen that I was working on a Christmas quilt. It was the Quiltmas Spectacular. It's like they release one block every day for the first 12 days of December. Each one is designed by a different quilt pattern designer. And then at the end you have this cute like Christmassy sampler quilt. So I did finish all of the blocks in the past couple of weeks. And I just wanted to briefly show them, just flash all 12 because I am gonna be hibernating this project now until next year. I just have like lost the mojo to work on it now that it's after Christmas and I have a lot of other things I want to work on. So I feel totally fine about putting the blocks away for this year, and then next year, hopefully I can finish it around Thanksgiving or right before Christmas and have it to use for next year. So I thought I would just quickly show you the blocks because they're very cute. So day one was the North Pole. Day two was a paper pieced wreath. Day three was this abstract dismembered snowman. Dismembered is not the right word. He's deconstructed. Sorry, that got dark for a second. All right, next was one of my favorites, the little robin holding the ornament. A pretty classic block was next, followed by probably the most spectacular one, the snow globe. So much detail in this one. Another very nice classical snowflake looking block here. This one is very cute and different as well. This was the light ornament, Christmas lights, sorry. Next we have Christmas crackers, which I just have been introduced to in the past couple of years through one of my coworkers, which are very fun. A sawtooth star wreath. And last but not least, another, oh, just kidding, there's two more. Another very pretty classic looking kind of bow block. And then here's the last one, the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. So yes, I'm really happy to have finished all the blocks, and I think next year around the holidays, I'll be ready to go to work on that again. I just have lost the holiday mojo at this point. So that was my quick update on those. Next, I wanted to let you know about a sewing whip that I'm working on. So I did not release a winter sewing plans video this year. Normally I release a like seasonal sewing plan video on the solstice, you know, the first day of the new season. But I have not been doing a lot of sewing in the fall, and my main sewing project for the winter is the one I'm about to talk to you about because it is a beast of a project. So I touched on this in Vlogmas, so I won't say too much about it, but we are going to a black tie wedding in New York City in February, and I decided to make my own formal dress. So I am making the Roberts Wood bow patchwork dress. It is this beauty here. I have been obsessed with this pattern ever since it came out. It is this patchwork, spectacular drama. I don't even know, I just love it so much. It has bows, it has contrasting types of fabric. It has drama. I love it. And I also love the little harness that goes over it. So I'm basically making this exact look with these fabrics, but in navy blue instead. So I ordered my fabrics, everything came. I spent 7 hours yesterday cutting this out. It is a lot of pieces, a lot of very precise things you have to keep track of, how many pieces of each you need, which one in which fabric. It's just a lot of little tiny pieces. So the update is it's cut out and ready to go, but that was honestly exhausting cutting that thing out. I will also say this pattern, the sizes are sold individually and it is an expensive pattern. I understand why it is expensive because, as I said, there are many pieces. There's a lot that goes into it. But just as a note, if you are interested in this, you have to buy each size individually. I am making size 20. Tomorrow is a holiday here in the States, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I am hoping to get started on assembling it tomorrow, and I will keep you all updated on that process. Okay, jumping into knitting whips. The rest are knitting whips except for the very last one, which is a spinning project. So I'll say more about that then. I am gonna jump right in, and again, I will try to go through these fairly quickly just because there are a lot of them. So I currently have 3 sock whips, which feels a bit excessive, but it's fine. So first one are a new design that I'm working on. So I've had this idea in my mind for a while for a colorwork sock design that is inspired by coneflowers. Sorry, I'm looking for my yarn thing. Okay, here we go. Yes, that would be inspired by the coneflower, which is like this really beautiful purple and brown native wildflower here and in many other places in the country. And I have yarn for that, and it's just kind of been noodling in the back of my head. And then for Christmas, my friend Jess and I, hi Jess, we did a sock swap, and she gave me this beautiful sock set from Explore Knits and Fibers. And this is the main color, which is Barrel Aged Sour, which is just this really dark purple with super pretty pops of color. And the mini it came with was this little brown guy called Daybreak. And I'll just show you, these are the 2 yarns that I have picked out for my coneflower colorwork socks, and then these are the ones Jess gave me. And I just thought they were very complimentary, and so I immediately just was inspired to make a different design that would kind of accompany this design that I'm planning in this sock set. So I have been working on that, and I finished the first one. So I feel like obviously you can't see the coneflower one yet because I haven't knit it up yet, but this will be complementary to that. So I'm imagining maybe releasing it as like a sock set if I ever get around to releasing it. But I did finish the first one, and here it is. So at the cuff, we have a twisted rib, and then there's just a little bit of color work here, and that kind of mimics an element that will be in the other pattern, and it also kind of mimics the like center of the coneflower. We have a contrast slip stitch heel, plain foot, and then at the toe we have that same color work motif again. So these are very subtle. In my mind, I imagine this as like the more toned down version of the other pattern. I think especially in these colors where there's not a ton of contrast, like if you're up close you can really see it, but from afar I think these are a little bit more simple, almost just a plain vanilla sock, just like that little touch of color work to make them extra special. And obviously if you chose colors that were more contrasting, you would get more of the effect. But this is not blocked yet, but it's looking really nice. So yeah, that is one down. Need to finish the second one still. This sock yarn is really lovely to work with, and I just can't get over those beautiful colors in the main yarn. So nice. So yeah, that was my first finished sock of the year, and I'm gonna finish the second one of that, and then I will start on the color work, the other design for this group. I'm just gonna start a pile on the floor over here. Okay, next one. So I knit I also participated in a Scrappy Advent swap, and I knit a shawl project with, where I did a stripe a day, the Daft Days shawl by Rebecca Clow, and I shared all about that in my Vlogmas videos. But then I had a bunch of yarn left over, and I wanted to make something else with it, and I've been craving another D20 project. So I cast on a pair of D20 ankle socks, and here is the first one. So the D20, basically the idea is that you just take a 20-sided die, I took all the leftovers, 20 of the colors from my advent, I've labeled them 1 through 20, and I'm keeping them in this basket. And then I basically roll my 20-sided die to pick the color, and then roll it again to pick the amount of rows, and then that's what I knit. So they're pretty random, but they turned out really, really fun. These are all the advent colors. I love that there's so much like pink and burgundy in these. I did decide to do the heel and toe in a solid color, so I just rolled for the color and then knit the entire heel and toe in that color. But yeah, I love the pops of like turquoise. Turned out really fun. So I have one more of these to go as well. I have three finished socks, 3 half-finished pairs of socks to share with you today. So yes, these are super fun. I love making these. They look totally crazy, but I enjoy them a lot. And this is a 3-inch leg, which I found I really enjoy wearing socks this length. So yes, I've got one more to go on that. I might cast the second one on later today while I'm editing. Okay, last sock is living in this really pretty bag I got at a local craft market, made by a local artist. Some shibori. It's super, I love the opening. I think this might actually be a free bag pattern, like the rice bag or something, but yeah, it's a really cool pattern. This has been my current car knitting. You know, my out and about, I've just been leaving it in the car. Another pair of socks. This is a pair of DK weight socks that I'm knitting for my partner Troy. Here is the yarn. So it's kind of red, gray, brown, bits of coral, white. I bought this from local dyer, Dye Mad Yarns. They have a store here, and it was one of their Skein of the Month clubs that was like moth inspired, and it just wasn't quite up my alley. I was hoping for something a little more like pink or green, or like, you know, softer browns, I don't know, but it is really pretty, but Troy really likes it, so I'm knitting a pair for him. This was their August 2023 color, and I am just holding this double and knitting a pair of DK weight socks for him, and it is knitting up really nicely. The colors are really pretty. It's not doing any weird like pooling or striping or anything. And funny enough, it kind of looks like the colors of our local sports team, the Ohio State Buckeyes, so that's kind of cool. And this is another little bit of a shorter pair, which he prefers as well. So yeah, these are just a basic DK vanilla sock. Again, first one done, time to start the second one. So I'm hoping next episode I will have at least 2, if not 3 pairs of finished socks. Okay, that's it for socks. Next is, let me scroll down in my notes here. Okay, so I have this beautiful skein of yarn that I have been meaning to cast on a hat with ever since we went out to Washington earlier last year in the fall. We got to visit La Mercerie, which is just a stunning, beautiful yarn shop on Bainbridge Island in Washington, and I bought a bunch of La Bien-Aimée yarn there, and I had purchased this skein of what is this, Sport Nouveau, which is their non-superwash merino sport base. It is just the perfect like bright red. The color is Coquelicot. And let me show you what I have cast on with it. So I knew I wanted this to be a ribbed hat, and I kind of waffled on which one I was going to cast on, but I did decide to cast on the Pearl Soho classic ribbed hat in size adult medium. This is a free pattern on Pearl Soho's website, and here's what I've got so far. So it's just a bunch of 1x1 ribbing and some decreases. So I decided to just keep it simple with this one. The yarn is so beautiful to work with. The dye is so rich and saturated, and it feels really nice in your hand to work with. I'm very much enjoying having this as a little mindless project. Basically I need to knit like 8 or so inches of 1x1 rib, and then I will do the decreases. This is a great free pattern. I knit one last fall for my friend's son. That was the first time I had made it, but it's very easy and it looks really nice. So yeah, sport weight yarn, Pearl Soho classic rib beanie. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Great little free pattern and a beautiful yarn. Okay, next is a fun one. So we're getting into some bigger projects now. So I did my first ever yarn advents, I guess, this year. So I already told you about the scrappy one I did, but the first one I purchased was the Camellia Fiber Co. Secret Garden Advent. It was a 12-day advent. It was beautifully packaged. The yarn is beautiful, but every single color is like an extremely soft pastel. So I kind of waffled on what I was going to make with these. I did end up casting this on during Vlogmas, so if you watch Vlogmas, you will have seen that. But I decided to make the Botanic Shawl by Stephen West. So I am on the second mini now, which was this one, and as you can see, it's so subtle. My camera does not want to focus today. There we go. It's almost just cream, but there are tiny bits of pink and green and yellow. And then I went and purchased a main color from a local yarn store, which was this really beautiful pink. This is Sweet Georgia, their sock base. It is the color Toasted. Oh, my autofocus is, there we go, weird. Okay, so that is my main color, and then I'm gonna be striping in all the minis. So here is what I have. I made quite a bit of progress on this. This entire section is just the first mini. So I know it's gonna, obviously the stripes will get thinner as it gets larger, but yeah, it is a really nice texture. It's a really simple shawl. This is the Botanic Shawl by Stephen West, if I did not already say that. It's very fun to knit. I need to get this on a bigger needle. And it's definitely not one where you're like tied to the pattern. It's pretty, for the most part, once you get the repeat figured out, it's pretty much just like go, go, go. So yeah, I made quite a bit of progress on that. I think the colors look pretty together. These like soft pastel-y colors with this like more medium pink. And I think it will be really nice to wear, but I see this being a little bit more of a long-term project just because I got a little bit burnt out on shawls at the end of last year. I knit 3 fairly large ones in 3 months. So yeah, I just got a little bit burnt out on them, but this one is very simple and easy to work on. So that is probably going to be an ongoing project for a while. And it does only come in one size. Okay, on to some garments. So first up is a sweater I spontaneously cast on for Troy in the day after Christmas. He was out of town for a couple days, so I just had 2 days to sit around and knit and do nothing else. So that's what I did. And I cast on a sweater for him. So if I've stuffed it completely. Okay. The yarn I am using is Sandnes Garn Mini Alpaca. It's 100% alpaca fingering weight yarn. The color is dark terracotta. It is this really pretty dark orange. And I had originally purchased this yarn to knit a different sweater for him, but that did not work out. It was frogged. So I decided to knit something more simple for him, something that I could work up more quickly. And I decided to knit the Anchors sweater men's version from Petite Knit. And here it is. So I think I knit this entire yoke in, if not 2 days, 3. I am holding the mini alpaca double for this. It is a very beautiful yoke. It's very simple. It's very addictive to knit. It is very impactful. I'm knitting the size 4 for him. I think the yarn has this beautiful shimmer. It has a really nice weight and drape to it. So as you can see, I have split 4 sleeves, and I am now working on the body. So I am obviously not used to knitting like 20 inches of body or whatever it is. So I do think it will probably take me a little bit longer to finish the body now that it's just stockinette in the round, but it is really lovely looking. My little sheep stitch stoppers here, I love those. So yeah, I have made a lot of progress on that. Oh, I did add short rows. So the pattern does not include short rows, which seems like an oversight to me, I have to say, especially with something with a neck this high and tight. So I did finish the yoke and the raglan increases and then added some short rows into the back. I just kind of wung it. I just kind of made them up. I've knit enough short rows at this point that I am pretty comfortable with how they work, so I just kind of made it happen, and I do think that's gonna really have helped the fit of this sweater, and I would definitely recommend adding them if you are knitting this for yourself or someone you love. I just think it's gonna help a lot. I am a little bit concerned that this sweater is gonna be too itchy for him to wear. So in hand, the mini alpaca feels very soft, but it does have a lot of longer hairs given that it's 100% alpaca. And when Troy tried it on, he was like, it's itchy. So we will see. I'm definitely gonna finish it. If anything, I think he'll just definitely need to wear like another shirt under it, but it is also gonna be very warm. So I do hope he can wear it. It may end up being more of a like special occasion sweater. We will see, but it is lovely to work on and going pretty quickly. So I'll keep plugging away on that. It's kind of been my craft night knitting the past couple times just because it's pretty mindless. Sorry for the tea break. Okay, I have 2 more knitting whips. The next one is very fun. Actually, I'm gonna do that one last. Switching it up. Okay. So local yarn store here, 614 Knit, which is one of my favorites. They have a great selection, super friendly owner. They were having a big inventory clearance sale after the holidays. So I went and picked up a few things. And one of the things I picked up was 5 skeins of this, which, sorry, this is a cake, but this is EcoView Fiber Mill Ranger Merino. It's a 2-ply bulky yarn, 90% merino, 10% rambouillet. So it is just like beautifully soft, beautiful rich blue color. I got 5 skeins of this at a deep discount because unfortunately I believe EcoView Fiber Mill has since closed down and this is no longer available. But I bought this to make an Ursa pullover by Jacqueline Cieslak. This was the original yarn used in the pattern. And I have previously knit the Ursina, which is the worsted weight version of this pattern. But this original version is bulky weight. And I love my Ursina so much. So, you know, I saw the yarn first and then I was like, ooh, what could I make with this? And I went on Ravelry and saw that this pattern was designed using that yarn and thought, perfect. So cast it on and I have finished the yoke. Here's what I have. So it is looking really nice. I love this color so much. It's just a quick treat to knit this at this weight. It's just lovely. So the pattern has this little brioche detail at the raglans. Here's the back, same detail down the center back and the center front. And then the really pretty part of this pattern is on the body. You get this like brioche triangle as you're knitting the body. So I'm just getting ready to start on that part. And the yarn is so beautiful and soft and lovely. I do anticipate that it will pill like crazy, just because it's so soft, but it's gonna be lovely to wear. I do think I got a little bit of rowing out on the knit flat parts. Like you can see these kind of horizontal stripes here, and that's not something that I usually experience, but I wonder if it's because of the bulkiness of the yarn just not being something that I'm used to working with. Yeah, you can really see it there. So it doesn't bother me. I would definitely still wear it. I don't know that most people would notice something like that, but just something to know for myself is that if I'm knitting with a bulkier weight yarn, I might need to go down a needle size on the purl rows if I'm knitting flat, just so I don't get that rowing out. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I might work on that more today. Okay, last knitting whip here. I just have a pile of whips on the floor. Okay, this is a fun one, but also yarn chicken. So, Sari Nordland just released a new pattern, the Moonflower pullover. Here's a picture of it. I'm obsessed with Sari Nordland and all of her designs, but this one has like caught my eye, and I cast it on immediately the day that she released it. But I'm doing something a little crazy with it. So I had purchased from another local knitter's D-stash a pack of 5 skeins of worsted weight yarn that were a fade, and they're a really beautiful fade. Here's the middle color just so you can see. They have, it kind of fades from pink to green, and then this middle skein is like similar to this color. It's kind of like an aqua, but it has all kinds of other little color pops in it. So I decided I was gonna knit this sweater as a fade because I've weirdly been craving like really colorful cables. I know a lot of people would probably feel like it's not worth it to put a lot of like texture into a garment that also has a lot of dye interest or color interest, and that they kind of cancel each other out a little bit, and they do a little bit, but I think it's still very fun and I'm having so much fun knitting it. So let me show you what I have so far. It's a little bit hard to show because there's all kinds of stuff hanging off of it and it's obviously not blocked, but here's what I have so far. So you knit the back first. Here's the back. I think you can definitely still see those cables. This is one I can tell it's gonna open up a lot with blocking. It feels very kind of scrunched up right now. So this was the first color, this really bright pink with all these other little color pops in it, and then faded into this lighter pink. And then you can see I've now faded into that middle kind of blue color. This central cable is just beautiful. And then I've started on the front. So I'm trying to just kind of go with the flow and not like over manage the yarn. They're definitely, I split the main color, the first color, like 50-50 between the front and the back, but you're gonna see a lot more of it on the back just because of the nature of the pattern, but that's okay. I'm just going with it. I'm not trying to overthink it or like stress out about the color management. I'm just like loosely managing it. So yes, here is the front. Again, faded into the pink, but because of the way this is constructed, I'm gonna need to use a lot more of that light, the second color, which was this like light pink one, on the front than I did on the back to get them to match up, and that's just fine. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. However, I am playing serious yarn chicken because I only have about 1,100 yards of yarn and the pattern calls for 1,600. So mine will be cropped. I already did the neckband just as a single layer of rib instead of the pattern calls for a double folded neckband. So that is one change that I made. And I also anticipate this possibly needing to have shorter sleeves, if not short sleeves. So because it's drop shoulder, I think that'll be okay. Like even a short sleeve on this would probably come to like elbow length for me. But yeah, it feels very crazy and spontaneous and I'm just kind of going with it. But I love how the colors look and the fade with the cables. It's very, very fun. The texture is just like out of this world, the seed stitch. So yes, I have been having so much fun with this. I knit this much in 2 days, like it's addictive. And then so we're going into that blue, and then there's a lighter green and then a darker green. So we'll see. I'm just gonna keep trucking on it. It's really fun. The yarn is lovely. It's Tanis Fiber Arts Pure Wash Worsted. I think it's a super wash worsted base. The pattern calls for Aran, but this yarn was spot on, like weight grams to yards matched to that yarn. So I'm hoping it will work out just fine. Like I said, this one I think is going to open up a ton with blocking. It looks a little small right now, but I think it will be fine once blocked. I have tried it on and the yoke so far fits really well. I'm excited about this. It's kind of crazy, but I love it. Even, I mean, who knows, depending on how much I'm able to knit, it may end up just being like something I wear around the house, but I think it's gonna look very cool if I have enough yarn. So we will see. That is my most recent cast-on and the one I'm having the most fun with. I've just been truly casting on whatever I feel like casting on, like with reckless abandon. And it's been really fun. Like I'm just kind of trying to focus on enjoying all of my projects this year and not letting them weigh me down or stress me out. So yes, that is it for knitting whips. I have one more spinning whip. So let's see if I can get this. For Christmas, my mom surprised me, with this. It is the EEW Nano e-spinner. So it's just this little teeny e-spinner. She knew I had been wanting to try spinning for a while, and this was such a pleasant surprise of a gift, and I have been really enjoying digging into this new hobby. The first time I sat down to try it, because she also gave me a braid of Corriedale fiber, I have been watching all these spinning videos and I was like, oh, surely I know how to do this, right? Absolutely not. It was so hard. The first day was messing with it for a couple of hours and it was so difficult. Just getting everything set up, you know, it just is humbling and fun to be put back into that like total beginner's mind. Like, even though this is an adjacent craft to knitting, it is definitely not the same, and it is a whole new learning curve of skills and techniques, and I love that. So I have been diving in. Ooh, let me pause and show you the first yarn I made. So a lot of that first braid of Corriedale, unfortunately, was not usable after I was done with it. It was total mess, either completely overspun or completely unspun or just like knotted up. I don't even know what happened. But I did end up getting some of it spun up into this gigantic skein of yarn. So this I would say is either like super bulky, excuse me, hiccup, is like super bulky probably. It is just the natural color. And I'm really proud of it. It's super thick and thin. There are parts that are like totally unspun, parts that are super overspun, but it still looks like yarn. And I was shocked to see how different it feels and looked after washing it and I think it's called thwacking. I don't know, I just kind of like did one of these and letting it dry, it got so much softer and really like relaxed into the twist, and it did turn out really nicely. There's not much here. I think there's like 55 to 60 yards, so I don't know that it's really enough to do anything with, but I will just treasure it as my first little yarn baby. So I have since moved on. Sorry, I'm gonna crinkle for a second. Oh, Ziploc noise. I have moved on to a new spin. So I did just go on Etsy and I wanted to try a few different things. So I ordered a sampler pack of a bunch of different breeds of sheep that came in and are beautiful. I ordered a braid, I ordered some Rolex and a bat, which I will show you in acquisitions in a minute. And I was checking out some D-Stash that people had, and one of the things I bought from D-Stash was this bundle of, it's like roving, it's like pretty thin roving. It's definitely not like pencil roving, but it is wrapped up in these strips. So I've probably used about half of this already. It's really fun. It's just, all I know is that it's wool and it has sari silk bits in it, the little colorful bits. And this has been really fun to spin. So here is one of my bobbins. I am, I think, improving at getting a skinnier single. It's a little hard to tell with this yarn because of all the neps, but I think much improved from my initial attempt with the Corriedale. It's much thinner. And I have solved the over twisting problem. I have got that figured out. Sorry if you can hear house noises in the background, that's my partner. But yeah, so I'm really having fun with this. It is even more like low, I don't know, it's even more like calming sometimes than knitting. Like you just sit and draft and that's it. Like it's perfect for watching knitting podcasts or whatever, listening to an audiobook. Once you get it going, there's really no thought involved, which sometimes is nice. So yes, I have really been enjoying dipping my toes into spinning, and it's just something I've been wanting to try for so long. So to feel like I'm getting the hang of it, and it's just been really satisfying. So I'm so eager to know if any of you also plan to try spinning this year, or if you already have, please let me know your thoughts on all the spinning things in the comments. So that is it for works in progress. Let me pause quickly and grab my acquisitions so I can share those with you. Okay, it has been, as I said, a while since my last podcast episode, and we've also had Christmas and just sales and all kinds of things going on. So I am not showing every single thing that I have purchased since the last podcast, but I am going to share quite a few things with you, and I'll just go through them fairly quickly. So a couple more things I purchased at the local yarn store's inventory clearance sale that they were having. I will show those now. So I got this beautiful skein of Sweet Georgia Tough Love sock. Anytime I can get a beautiful sock yarn at a discount, I always pick those up. The colors are just right up my alley. The color is Rosy Posy. I also got one skein of this there, West Yorkshire Spinners, the Croft. It is 100% Shetland Islands wool in this beautiful pink color. The color is Maywick. It's stunning. I was thinking maybe a hat for this, but I don't know if it would be too close to my skin tone. So have a think on that one. What did I say? It is DK weight. I was actually thinking about knitting Summer Lee, who normally designs sock patterns, just released a hat pattern, the hibernal hat. I can put a picture of that. Really pretty. I was thinking this might be pretty as a hibernal hat. I might cast that on after I finish my red hat. The other sale item I picked up there, they had Lang Cashmere Dream like 50% off. So this is a really light dusty purple. It is, what color are you? color 1085.0009. Not very fun. They come in these little 25-gram balls. This is definitely a lace weight yarn. I think I got 4 or 5 of these, and I'm planning to hold them double and knit a ranunculus. And I think it will be just like super ethereal and beautiful and soft and a cloud. So that is my plan for the Lane Cashmere. It is so incredibly soft. I can't wait to use that. And then the last thing I picked up there were these. I got, I think 3 or 4 skeins each of Natural Cream and Black Barocco Lanis. And I am planning to knit the design, the cover design from the last issue of Pom Pom magazine. I'm so sad that Pom Pom magazine is going away. It has been a joy to receive that magazine every quarter. I always love the designs, and I'm really heartbroken that they're going out of business. So I thought to honor them, and because the design is amazing, here's a picture. I think it's called the Fortuna pullover, Fortuna's wheel or something. It is this amazing optic black and white design, and I'm going to be knitting it. So I will probably cast that on with reckless abandon as soon as the magazine arrives in the next couple of weeks. So yes, the called for yarn is actually like a cotton wool blend. It's a chain net yarn, but I think the Barocco Lanis will work just as well. So I did also pick those up. All right, I already mentioned ordering some fibers, so let me show you now. I ordered a bat and a set of Rolags from, I'm sorry for the crinkling, a Gem Fiber Arts shop on Etsy, and these are just so beautiful. I don't even want to spin them up because they're so beautiful, but I will. So this bat is a blend of merino, BFL, and silk, and it is called California Sunset. I mean, look at that. I am a little bit laughing at how they packaged this. It came in this bag with the top open like this. So they had it wrapped in some tissue, but yeah, it is just like Barbie dreams, pink and orange. There's like a little bit of chartreuse. I am gonna have to learn how to spin from a bat, but I am very excited to spin this up. The color is amazing. And possibly even more beautiful are these Rolags from the same shop, a Gem Fiber Arts. These are called Junkyard Art Rolags. It's a blend of merino, Falkland, Starbright, which is a little bit of shimmery nylon, Targi, Sari Silk, and Tussa Silk Mall. Look at these. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take them out of the plastic yet, but it's not even showing up on camera how like vivid and beautiful these are. Look at all the little colors. You can see the shimmery nylon. Like, I cannot wait to spin these. Again, I will be learning. I've never used Rolags before. I just wanted to try a lot of different preps, and these are so beautiful. So very, very excited to spin those up. And that shop, I would definitely check them out on Etsy. They have really beautiful like art Rolags and all kinds of stuff. Okay, a couple more. So I did, during Vlogmas, I shared with you everything that Jess gave me in our box that we swapped, except she had purchased the entire Coast to Coast Advent, the coffee house Advent, and it came with a bonus skein that was meant to be opened on New Year's Day. She also purchased one of those for me, so we have matching skeins. We opened them early, and so I did not want to show it because I did absolutely not want to risk spoiling anyone, but I will show it to you now because it's so beautiful. Look at this. Oh, look at that beautiful neutral with those speckles. It's so good. The color is Sprinkle. This is their classic sock base. It was kind of inspired by like a donut, I think, but yeah, it's so beautiful. So we were talking about maybe knitting matching socks or something, so I need to talk to her and see what we're gonna do. I do think this would be stunning in socks. So that was so nice of her. I absolutely love it, and I'm really excited to knit that up. Two more. almost done. I'm proud of myself. I feel like I got through those whips pretty quickly for how many there were. So I am also a complete sucker for anything that is like Zodiac branded or a Zodiac collection. I'm a Sagittarius. So Ritual Dyes does a Zodiac collection, and they were having a sale on their Zodiac yarns. So I had to get a skein of the Sagittarius sock yarn. It is their maiden base, which is their 2-ply fingering weight, and it is just this absolutely beautiful dark purple. It does have little bits of black and like lighter purple throughout, but yeah, I love it. So this is the Sagittarius color, and I'm already thinking ahead to Sari Nordland's summer sock knit along for 2024. Hopefully she does it again, and I'm thinking this might be one of my colors for that this year. So I might just kind of set this one aside for now. Actually, that would be really pretty as another one of them. Okay, I might have to save this for the summer sock knit along. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I just put those together, and like the purple sprinkles with the, okay, those might have to go together. We'll see. I just got really excited. Okay, and last thing, I have become the biggest fangirl of Camellia Fiber Company, which is a Nashville-based dyer. As I said, I got their Advent this year, and they released a new winter color called Midnight, and I had to have it. It is this beautiful dark tealy kind of petrol blue. It's so gorgeous. I just love their yarn. This is their organic merino fingering, 100% organic merino wool, non-superwash. It's just stunning. And I also got the matching mohair. And I think if I don't have the urge to just cast on what I have planned for this immediately, this may be my birthday cast on for this year. I feel like I'm getting way ahead of myself because it is January and my birthday's in November, but this feels like a special project. This is a special yarn in a beautiful color, and what I'm planning to make with it is the Poetry Pullover by Sari Nordland. Here's a picture. It is, excuse me, this beautiful all over lace pullover. I have been planning to knit this ever since I started knitting a couple of years ago. And I think in these yarns, it will be stunning. So very excited for that, but I'm not sure when I will get to, I might save that as a special cast on. I do feel like I need to cool it a little bit with casting on more like warm sweaters, like heavier mohair kind of sweaters or heavier weight sweaters, because I am starting to get a little bit of the itch for like the spring and summer knitting. So I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not going to cast on another winter sweater because who knows what I'll do, but I am definitely starting to think about like clearing my needles of some of the bigger projects and putting some of this kind of stuff, like slotting it into ideas for the fall. So that is it. That's all the acquisitions, some very exciting things. I was just gonna quickly chat about a couple of things and then we'll call it a day. So Vlogmas I already touched on. It was such a fun time. Thank you all to anyone who followed along. I think it was just a great time. I particularly loved the episode where we shared all the gingerbread houses from our work competition. That Barbie dream house gingerbread house is one of my favorite things I've ever made. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and watch that episode. It was so much fun. So yeah, thank you to everyone that followed along with that. I definitely think I'll do it again next year. With inventory, so I did after the holidays do a little bit of a clean out, as I want to do on occasion, and I had started a couple things that just weren't inspiring me. So one of those was the yen wrap I had started, and I think I shared that on Vlogmas. It wasn't a good yarn project combo, so frogged that one. I also decided to hibernate another project, my Keswick scarf, which is probably my oldest whip. It's definitely my oldest whip. It's probably, if not already 2 years old, nearing 2 years old. I want to finish it eventually, but I just don't want to work on it right now. So it is hibernated, and that kind of gave me a clean slate to like cast on a lot of these other projects. So that was a good thing. Curious if you do that once a year, every once in a while, like how often do you kind of go through all your whips and clean them out? Spinning I already talked about. I've just been loving it. It was humbling at first, but I do feel like I have been practicing and getting better. And I don't know how much of it I'll share on the podcast. I'll probably share, you know, at least if I have finished yarn or if I'm knitting with it, but it kind of feels like something I just want to like take the time to learn and practice and see where it goes. And lastly, I was just gonna talk about a couple books for a second. So during the holidays, I have fallen very deeply into the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame fandom. If you don't know what these are, it's 2 books. It's romantasy, if you will. They're kind of like fantasy, romance, dragons. I don't know, I think if you like ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, you would also like these. They are just very fun and very like fast paced. I read Fourth Wing in like 2 days. I think I read them both the first time in like a week and a half or less. And now I'm reading them for the second time and also listening to a podcast. So if you're also very into these books, I would definitely recommend checking out the Fantasy Fangirls podcast. Very fun. They do audio and YouTube. I'll link them below. I've super been enjoying rereading the books and listening to their podcast. So please let me know your thoughts on Fourth Wing. Are you also in the Fourth Wing hive, or was it maybe not for you? I'm curious because I'm deep into it right now. Anyways, yes, I think that is all I have for you. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked the episode, please like the episode, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel so you get notifications whenever there's a new video. I do tend to post these podcast episodes about every 2 weeks, so usually like twice a month, but I don't keep like a real strict schedule or always post on a certain day. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I am really excited to start year 2 of podcasting, and I hope that you also got lots of crafty time over the holidays. And I think I'm seeing a lot of love for the month of January right now in like press and on social media about how it's a time to just like slow down and kind of like come in, you know, inside, like look inward. I don't know, and I'm kind of leaning into that this year as January as a time to just reset after all the craziness of the holidays and have a little bit of a peaceful time. And for me, that means lots of making. So thank you again for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.